Dr. Liam Carter had spent most of his life chasing mysteries. While other humans looked to the stars for colonies, Liam looked for stories hidden in ancient ruins scattered across the galaxy. Every planet had secrets, he believed. But Erythra was different. Its legends spoke of civilizations older than any record humans had ever found. Civilizations that had vanished into myths, leaving only ruins and whispers behind. When Liam first received permission to explore Erythra, he felt both excitement and a strange unease. Something about the planet seemed alive, as if it were waiting for someone to uncover its secrets. The planet's surface was a mix of jagged mountains and glowing crystal valleys. Strange plants that shimmered in colors Liam had no words for grew in clusters, their leaves vibrating softly as if they were singing to the wind. Liam's ship touched down near a plateau where the ruins were concentrated. From a distance, the structures looked like broken towers and collapsed domes, but as he approached, he saw patterns in the destruction. The walls were etched with symbols, spirals, and shapes that seemed almost alive. Liam felt a pulse in the air, a rhythm he could not explain, as if the planet itself was trying to communicate. He spent the first few days mapping the ruins and photographing every glyph. His scanner showed traces of energy buried beneath the ground, far more sophisticated than anything humans had made. On the 5th day, he noticed a strange formation in the center of the plateau. It was a building unlike the others, smooth, intact, and hidden in a small canyon. Its surface was polished, reflecting the light of the planet's twin suns. At the entrance, a series of carvings warned in symbols Liam recognized from his studies as protective markers. They seemed to say, "Do not enter." But the language was ancient, older than any known translation. Liam hesitated. His heart pounded with a mixture of fear and excitement. He had trained for this moment his entire life. Scholars often said that curiosity was humanity's greatest strength, and Liam had never taken those words lightly. Carefully, he stepped into the entrance, feeling a subtle warmth brush against his skin. Inside, the walls glowed faintly, revealing more intricate symbols and patterns. The air smelled faintly of ozone and something sweet, a fragrance he could not identify. The room was large, circular, and in the center stood a crystalline sarcophagus, radiating soft golden light. Liam's breath caught. He had read stories of sarcophagi in alien myths, but nothing prepared him for seeing one in person. The sarcophagus was tall, smooth, and alive with energy. Symbols along its edges shifted slightly when Liam's eyes moved, as if watching him. He ran his hand along the surface, marveling at the craftsmanship. The moment he touched it, the room hummed louder, vibrating gently under his feet. The light grew brighter, almost blinding, and Liam instinctively stepped back, shielding his eyes. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, the light faded to a soft glow. The sarcophagus's lid began to slide open slowly, revealing a figure inside. Liam froze. At first, he saw only shimmering golden shapes, but gradually, the figure became clear. She was tall, regal, and her skin seemed to glisten like liquid gold. Her eyes were large and deep, reflecting colors that did not exist in any human spectrum. Her hair floated around her head as if in water, moving gracefully without any wind. Liam felt a mix of awe and nervousness. According to the myths he had studied, this had to be Queen Celiara, the legendary alien queen said to rule the lost civilization of Erythra. "Thank you," a voice said, clear and melodic, echoing gently through the chamber. Liam jumped, startled that she could speak. He realized she was addressing him directly, not just in sound, but in thought. The voice was not only audible, it carried emotion, warmth, and curiosity. I'm Liam Carter," he stammered. I didn't mean to disturb you." He trailed off, unsure how to explain centuries of myths and curiosity in a sentence. Celiara's eyes studied him, then softened.
"You are human, and you are..."
"That is why you have awakened me." She rose from the sarcophagus, her movements graceful and deliberate. Liam could not stop staring. Every detail of her presence radiated intelligence, wisdom, and a kind of gentle power. I've read stories, Liam managed. Legends say you ruled a civilization here. They say you were extraordinary.
And what do these humans know of extraordinary things? You are small, fragile, yet you carry curiosity as if it were armor.
It is rare for a species to cherish knowledge so deeply. Liam felt a thrill of pride, but also humility. He realized that centuries of human history, with all its struggles and achievements, were invisible to someone like her, whose life had spanned countless ages.
I
wanted to learn. I wanted to understand your world, your civilization. And now you shall, Celiara said, moving toward a circular platform that seemed to react to her presence. Symbols on the walls lit up in waves, filling the chamber with soft luminescence.
But understand this, human. Knowledge is not just facts.
It is responsibility. You must carry what you learn with care. Liam nodded. His hands trembled slightly. I promise. I'll do my best. For hours, Celiara spoke of her civilization, of cities built in harmony with nature, of technology designed not for war, but for art, health, and understanding. She described councils where leaders from different worlds worked together, and systems that allowed every individual to contribute ideas without fear. Liam listened in awe, taking notes, asking questions, sometimes interrupting to clarify a detail. Every answer she gave revealed a depth of wisdom far beyond human experience. As night fell on Erythra, the twin suns casting long shadows across the chamber, Liam felt an unusual bond forming. He was no longer simply an archaeologist discovering relics of the past. He was sharing a dialogue with a being who had shaped history itself. Celiara, too, seemed intrigued by him. She asked questions about humans, about their emotions, their dreams, and the way they built relationships despite challenges. Liam answered honestly, speaking of family, friendship, and humanity's endless curiosity. You are unlike the humans I read about, Celiara said thoughtfully. Your people often fight over resources, ideas, and territory, yet you have the capacity to dream beyond survival.
That is remarkable. Liam felt a warmth in his chest.
For centuries, humans had been seen as insignificant in the galaxy, a species young and fragile compared to alien civilizations. And yet here, in this hidden chamber, he realized that humans had a spark, something unique that even a legendary queen recognized. By the end of the first day, Liam had learned more than he could have imagined. He understood that Celiara's civilization had been a beacon of knowledge, and her absence had left a void in the galaxy. She, in turn, was beginning to understand humans, their potential, and their flaws. Despite the vast differences in their experiences, a mutual respect had begun to grow, a bridge between species that had once been separated by time and legend. As Liam prepared to leave the chamber for the night, Celiara touched his arm lightly. Rest, human. Tomorrow you will see more, and you will understand that curiosity can be the beginning of great things. But remember, knowledge comes with choice. Every action you take echoes across time and space. Liam nodded, feeling a strange mixture of exhaustion and exhilaration. He had entered the ruins, seeking history, and had found a living legend. He knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy, once distant and mysterious, now felt within reach, and his role in it was just starting. As he settled in a small tent nearby, he looked up at the twin suns setting behind the crystal mountains, thinking of the stories yet to be discovered, the wisdom yet to be shared, and the friendship that had just begun. Little did he know, the simple act of curiosity, of touching a sarcophagus hidden for millennia, had set in motion a journey that would change not only his life, but the course of human history and the fate of the galaxy itself. And somewhere deep within the ruins, The light of the awakened queen shimmered, ready to guide a human toward possibilities no one had ever imagined. The morning light on Erythra's crystal plains fell like liquid gold across the ruins, and Liam awoke feeling more alive than ever. The memory of Queen Celiara's presence lingered in his mind, like a melody he could not forget. He packed his equipment carefully, making sure every notebook, scanner, and sample container was in order. But for the first time he realized that the mission was no longer about archaeology alone. It was about connection, about understanding a being who had shaped entire civilizations and learning what humanity could gain from her wisdom. As he approached the chamber again, he noticed subtle changes. The air hummed more strongly, and the symbols on the walls pulsed with a soft rhythmic glow. Celiara stood near the sarcophagus, though she no longer seemed like a figure trapped in time. Her movements were serene and natural, and her eyes carried a gentle curiosity as they rested on Liam. "You return early, human?" she said, her voice musical, almost blending with the hum of the ruins.
"You did not need to sleep in your tent while knowledge awaits," Liam smiled, though he felt a little nervous. "I wanted to be ready."
Yesterday was overwhelming. I never imagined I would meet someone like you and hear stories that feel older than the stars. Celiara inclined her head, her golden hair floating as though stirred by an unseen breeze. "Time is only a measure, Liam. Stories older than the stars do not frighten me, for I have seen them all. What fascinates me now is your perspective. You are of a species that dreams beyond its limitations. That is a rare quality."
They spent hours exploring the chamber together. Liam learned that the walls were not merely decorative. They were archives, storing knowledge through holographic projections that responded to Celiara's presence.
When she touched a symbol, it expanded into a glowing image. Star maps, ecological data, social structures of entire civilizations, and art so intricate that Liam could not stop staring. "This is incredible," Liam said, tracing the projection of a city that seemed to float above the ground, supported by light itself.
"Your civilization, it was peaceful."
Organized but peaceful. You didn't conquer planets. You shared knowledge. "Peace was our choice," Celiara replied softly. "Our power was not meant to dominate, but to protect and nurture. We believed that every being had the right to grow, to create, and to learn. The galaxy thrives when cooperation outweighs conflict." Liam nodded. Humans often struggled with cooperation, even on their own world. He felt a sense of responsibility, as if learning from Celiara could help humanity reach its potential. "I think humans are capable of that too," he said. "We may be young, but we are curious, inventive, and sometimes surprisingly wise."
Celiara smiled faintly. "Your species is like a candle in a dark hall, small but capable of lighting entire rooms."
"That is why I am here. You have awakened me, but it is not I who will change the galaxy alone. You will play your part." For the next few days, Liam and Celiara traveled across the plateau and the nearby valleys, exploring ruins that had remained untouched for centuries. Liam used his scanners to analyze the energy traces, while Celiara guided him, explaining their purpose. Some ruins were libraries, storing knowledge in forms humans could not yet comprehend. Others were gardens, engineered to sustain both life and beauty. One particular ruin contained a vast pool filled with liquid that glowed softly and responded to touch, creating shapes and patterns in the water. Liam dipped his hand in, and Celiara showed him how the liquid could project memories, like living stories of the past. "You see, Liam," she said, watching the water ripple in response to his gestures, "knowledge can be alive. It is not static. It changes when it is experienced, when it interacts with those who seek it. That is why curiosity is the greatest gift you can possess." Liam was captivated. Each day brought new discoveries, but also new questions. He asked about Celiara's civilization, why it had disappeared, and how she had survived. She told him that time itself had been a river of change. Civilizations rose and fell, and sometimes the most powerful beings had to withdraw to preserve the balance of life. "I slept to wait for the right moment," she explained. "And now you have arrived at that moment." Their friendship deepened as they shared stories of their lives. Liam spoke of Earth, of oceans and mountains, of cities and forests. Selyara listened intently, fascinated by humanity's resilience and creativity. She asked about emotions, about family and love, about the struggles humans faced when trying to balance their desires with their responsibilities. Liam answered honestly, sometimes hesitating, realizing that a queen who had witnessed millennia might find human life trivial. But she did not judge. She simply listened and offered perspective. "You have the power to influence your own species," she said one evening, as the twin suns set behind crystalline mountains. "Small acts of understanding and empathy can ripple outward, shaping more than you imagine. Humans often underestimate themselves." Liam felt inspired, but also cautious. He knew humans were capable of great achievements, but also of mistakes.
"I hope we can live up to that potential," he said quietly.
I hope we can make choices that benefit not just ourselves, but others. Selyara's eyes glowed softly. You already are.
By seeking knowledge, by being curious, by learning from others. You are fulfilling the first step. It is the choices that follow which will define your species, and perhaps with guidance you can lead humanity towards something greater. One day, as they explored a series of caves beneath the plateau, Liam discovered a network of tunnels filled with strange symbols. They led to a chamber where the walls were alive with tiny lights, forming constellations that shifted as if breathing. Selyara explained that these were maps of the galaxy, showing not just locations but connections, routes of communication, trade, and understanding. Humans had mapped stars, but they had never mapped relationships in this way. "This is how my people thought," she said, "not just of territory, but of connection. Every star is a possibility, every civilization a partner. Fear and aggression limit the mind, but curiosity and empathy expand it." Liam felt a deep sense of awe. He realized that humans could learn not just technology from alien civilizations, but a new way of thinking. He thought of Earth, of its conflicts and divisions, and imagined a future where humans saw themselves as part of a larger galactic family, connected not by conquest, but by understanding. As they spent more time together, Selyara began to ask Liam questions that made him think deeply about humanity. She asked about art, and he described paintings, music, and literature. She asked about science, and he spoke of experiments, discoveries, and theories. She asked about dreams, and Liam shared his hope that humans could explore space responsibly, learning from other civilizations without destroying what they found. "You have a vision," she said. "It is clear that your species, though young, carries the seeds of greatness. I can guide, but you must act. You must inspire others to see beyond themselves." Liam felt both honored and burdened. The responsibility seemed immense, but Selyara's presence made it feel achievable. She had seen centuries, even millennia, and she believed in him. And that belief made him believe in himself. They spent nights in the chamber studying the projections of ancient civilizations, learning about technologies that humans could adapt without harm. They experimented with energy sources that glowed like sunlight, but carried no danger. They explored ways to grow food in barren environments, ways to communicate across distances using light and resonance. Liam realized that the Queen's knowledge was not just about power, but about nurturing life in all its forms. One evening, Liam asked a question that had been on his mind since the first day. "Why me? Why did you choose to awaken when I touched the sarcophagus?" Selyara's expression softened. "I did not choose you, Liam. Curiosity chose you." The galaxy has a rhythm, and it selects those whose hearts are open, whose minds are willing to learn. You acted not out of greed, but out of a desire to understand.
That is why you awaken me?
And that is why I remain. Liam felt a shiver of pride and humility. He had always thought of himself as just an archaeologist, someone who uncovered the past. But now he realized that discovery was only the beginning. Understanding, empathy, and curiosity could create a bridge between species, between civilizations, and between time itself. By the end of their second week together, Liam and Selyara had formed a strong bond. They laughed together, shared meals and simple moments, and marveled at the wonders of a civilization long lost. Liam realized that he had not only uncovered history, but had become part of it, and Selyara, though ancient and powerful, seemed genuinely interested in learning from him as well. The sun set behind the crystal mountains, casting long shadows across the plateau. Liam looked at the horizon and felt a thrill of possibility. He knew that their journey was only beginning. There were other ruins, other mysteries, other civilizations waiting to be discovered and understood. And together, human and queen, they would explore them, not as conqueror and subject, but as partners in knowledge, friendship, and hope. For the first time in his life, Liam felt that humanity had a place in the galaxy beyond survival, beyond conflict. With Selyara's guidance, he began to imagine a future where curiosity, kindness, and intelligence could shape the stars. And somewhere in the glowing chamber, the Queen watched him with eyes full of warmth and promise, knowing that the spark of humanity might yet light the path to greatness. As the days passed on, Orithra, Liam, and Selyara explored deeper into the ruins, but news of her awakening had begun to travel far beyond the planet. Through subtle cosmic signals and whispers in the galactic network, civilizations across nearby star systems had learned that the legendary Queen had returned. Some were curious, others cautious, and a few viewed her presence with unease. Liam could feel the shift in the energy of the galaxy, subtle but undeniable.
The moment of awakening was not just a personal event. It was a turning point.
Selyara observed the reactions with calm wisdom. "The galaxy remembers me," she said softly as they walked through a valley of crystal trees, their leaves chiming like wind chimes. "Not all will welcome me, and some may doubt my intentions. That is natural. But fear comes from misunderstanding, and misunderstanding can be healed." Liam nodded. "Do you think they will see humanity differently because of me? They will see what you represent: curiosity, courage, and a willingness to understand. Your species is young, yet you have a spark that many older civilizations have lost. That spark is rare and valuable." Together, they decided to embark on a journey to reach the Galactic Council, a coalition of multiple species tasked with maintaining harmony and communication in the galaxy. Selyara believed that by showing her peaceful intentions and working alongside humans, they could promote cooperation and understanding rather than fear. Liam felt a mixture of excitement and responsibility. For the first time, he realized that his actions could influence not just one civilization, but countless worlds. Their journey began with careful preparation. Liam calibrated his ship to carry both of them safely through the interstellar paths. Selyara, unfamiliar with human technology, observed everything with fascination.
"Your ships are small yet efficient," she said, examining the controls. "They are limited by size and energy, but they are clever."
"I can learn much from this. As they traveled, they visited planets that had been in conflict, not through violence, but through miscommunication and misunderstanding."
On one planet, two intelligent species had argued over territory for decades, each assuming the other was aggressive. Liam used his knowledge of diplomacy, while Selyara shared her ancient methods of mediation. Together, they listened to each side, encouraged dialogue, and proposed creative solutions that allowed both species to share resources. Within days, old tensions softened. The species began cooperating, inspired by the example of a human and an alien queen working together. Liam marveled at the effect Selyara had on others. Even beings who had feared her presence were drawn to her calm wisdom. Her reputation as a legendary queen preceded her, but it was her patience, empathy, and intelligence that truly won hearts. He realized that humanity could learn a lot from observing her, not just in technology, but in approach to life and relationships. One evening, while traveling through a star system with a ring of luminous asteroids, Saliara asked Liam about human governance and society. Liam described the struggles and successes of human nations, how they balanced democracy, cooperation, and conflict. Saliara listened with deep interest, asking thoughtful questions. "Your species has made mistakes," she said, "but you are willing to learn. That willingness is more important than perfection. Knowledge and empathy together can create change."
Liam felt a surge of pride. "It's not easy," he admitted.
Humans fight. They make mistakes, and sometimes they forget the bigger picture. But we have hope, and we can create tools and systems to help us do better.
"You already have," Saliara replied.
Curiosity brought you here. Empathy will guide you forward. Tools are only useful if hearts and minds are open. Their journey was not without challenges, though none were violent. On a planet covered in dense floating forests, they encountered natural phenomena that interfered with their sensors. The magnetic fields distorted the ship's instruments, and Liam had to rely on intuition and observation rather than technology. Saliara guided him, offering insights into patterns that humans had not yet noticed. Together, they navigated the planet safely, using creativity, patience, and careful reasoning. Through these experiences, Liam began to understand that intelligence alone was not enough. Diplomacy, creativity, and empathy were equally important. He realized that humans, though still developing as a species, had the capacity to combine these traits in ways that could influence the galaxy positively. Saliara's presence magnified his understanding, but it was his curiosity and determination that allowed them to solve problems. News of their journey spread even further. Scholars, explorers, and diplomats from multiple systems reached out, eager to meet the legendary queen and the human who had awakened her. Liam and Saliara began holding meetings, sharing knowledge, and demonstrating that collaboration was more effective than fear. On a station orbiting a neutral planet, representatives from dozens of species gathered to witness their approach. Saliara spoke of her civilization's methods, how art, science, and philosophy had been used to maintain harmony. Liam spoke of humanity's curiosity and the willingness to learn from mistakes. The audience was captivated, inspired by the combination of ancient wisdom and youthful optimism. During one of these gatherings, Liam realized how much he had changed. He had started as an archaeologist seeking knowledge for himself. Now he was a mediator, a teacher, and a bridge between civilizations. Saliara's influence had opened doors, but it was his willingness to learn, adapt, and speak honestly that made the impact possible. As they continued their journey toward the Galactic Council, Saliara and Liam discussed the future.
"Humans can achieve remarkable things," Saliara said as they traveled through a nebula of swirling colors.
Your species is small compared to the galaxy, yet you have the capacity to influence it in ways older civilizations have forgotten. The galaxy needs your perspective. Liam nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. I never imagined that freeing you would lead to this. I thought I was just following my curiosity. But now I see that curiosity can change everything.
"It always has," Saliara replied, her eyes reflecting the nebula's vibrant colors. "Curiosity combined with understanding creates progress." "What?" "You have already shown me that humans are capable of this. The galaxy will remember it."
Their arrival at the Galactic Council marked a turning point. Species that had once been wary or indifferent were now open to dialogue. Liam and Saliara presented their experiences, sharing stories of planets where understanding had replaced tension. They demonstrated that even small acts of empathy and communication could create ripple effects, building cooperation across systems. Council members were impressed not by force or power, but by creativity, patience, and the genuine desire to connect. One council elder, a being with shifting, translucent skin, spoke to Liam. You are human, yet you have achieved what many of our species have struggled with for centuries. You have bridged worlds without using violence, without demanding submission. That is extraordinary. Liam smiled, feeling the weight of responsibility and the thrill of accomplishment. I only did what any curious human might do. I listened, I learned, and I tried to understand. Celiara guided me. But humans can also make these connections, if we choose to. Celiara placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. And you have inspired more than humans. You have reminded the galaxy that cooperation, empathy, and knowledge are more powerful than fear and suspicion. This is your gift, Liam.
As the council session ended, Liam realized that their journey had reached a new stage. It was no longer just about exploring ruins or uncovering ancient knowledge.
It was about shaping the galaxy's future, helping civilizations work together, and proving that humanity could contribute meaningfully. He understood that humans had a role not because they were the strongest, but because they were capable of learning, adapting, and dreaming beyond themselves. Later, as they traveled back toward Erythra for a short rest, Liam and Celiara discussed plans for sharing knowledge more broadly. They envisioned networks of learning, where species could exchange ideas safely and creatively. They imagined projects where humans could apply their ingenuity to challenges across the galaxy, guided by principles of respect and curiosity.
You have opened a door, Liam, Celiara said as the twin suns dipped behind the mountains.
The galaxy will never be the same, because you have shown that even a small, young species can make a difference. Your curiosity has awakened not just me, but the potential of countless others. Liam felt a mixture of pride, humility, and excitement. He had started this journey as an archaeologist, searching for relics of the past. Now he was a participant in shaping the galaxy's future. He realized that exploration was not just about discovery. It was about understanding, connecting, and inspiring others to do the same. As night fell, Liam looked up at the stars, feeling a deep sense of purpose. Celiara's presence beside him was a constant reminder that wisdom could guide even the smallest actions. Together, they had shown that patience, empathy, and curiosity could resolve tensions, but force never could. And as he drifted to sleep beneath Erythra's glowing skies, he knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges, new discoveries, and new opportunities to help the galaxy become a place where understanding was valued above fear, and cooperation was celebrated above fear. And cooperation, the galaxy seemed to hum with possibility as Liam Carter and Queen Celiara traveled from system to system. The news of Celiara's awakening had spread like starlight, reaching far corners of space. But unlike the tales that humans had heard of alien rulers, she did not arrive to dominate or control. She came to guide, to share knowledge, and to inspire cooperation. And Liam, once an archaeologist who simply sought to uncover history, had become her partner, learning how humans could contribute meaningfully to the vast cosmos. Their first stop after leaving the Galactic Council was a planet named Viridia. It was lush and green, with floating rivers that sparkled in the sunlight and forests that seemed to stretch endlessly. Viridia had been on the brink of isolation because neighboring planets feared its unique energy resources. Humans had rarely visited, unsure how to communicate effectively with Viridia's inhabitants. But with Celiara's presence and Liam's guidance, the situation changed. They met the Viridians, beings with translucent skin that shimmered like sunlight on water. The creatures were cautious at first, unsure whether to trust a legendary queen and a human from a distant world. Liam stepped forward, speaking honestly and calmly. He shared his experiences exploring Erythra, learning from Celiara, and understanding that knowledge was a gift meant to be shared, not hoarded. Celiara added her wisdom, explaining the principles of cooperation and empathy that had guided her civilization for millennia. By the end of their first meeting, the Viridians were inspired. They began discussing ways to share their energy resources with neighboring planets safely and efficiently. Liam watched as old fears dissolved into collaboration, and he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. It was one thing to study history. It was another to participate in creating it. For the first time, he saw humanity's potential in action, working alongside an alien civilization to shape a better future. Their travels continued, each planet presenting new opportunities to learn and teach. On the floating city of Lyra, Liam helped establish communication networks between species who had long misunderstood one another. Selyara demonstrated how even small gestures of kindness and patience could prevent conflicts before they started. Together, they held workshops where species shared art, music, and scientific knowledge, building friendships that would endure far beyond their visit. Liam was amazed at how much humans could contribute. Their curiosity, creativity, and persistence allowed them to find solutions that even the most advanced civilizations had overlooked.
Selyara often praised his insights, pointing out how human ingenuity could complement ancient wisdom.
"Your species is remarkable, Liam," she said one evening as they watched a double sunset from the deck of their ship.
You combine imagination with persistence, and that combination can create extraordinary results. But it was not only technological or scientific contributions that mattered. Selyara encouraged Liam to observe how humans could inspire trust and hope through simple actions. On the planet Zera, a species known as the Korith had been divided for generations by small misunderstandings. Liam and Selyara organized a cultural exchange, inviting the Korith to experience human music, art, and storytelling alongside demonstrations of Selyara's ancient knowledge. Slowly, the Korith began to see each other as partners rather than rivals. Liam realized that humanity's empathy and ability to communicate across differences could build bridges where ancient civilizations had failed. As their journey continued, Liam noticed subtle changes in himself as well. He was no longer just an observer of history. He was part of it. He felt a growing confidence in his ability to make meaningful decisions, to mediate disagreements, and to inspire cooperation. Selyara had awakened more than a queen. She had awakened his understanding of what humans could achieve in the galaxy. One day, as they traveled near a nebula of swirling violet and gold, Liam asked Selyara about her own hopes for the future.
"Do you think your civilization will ever rise again?"
he asked. Selyara's eyes reflected the nebula's colors. "Civilizations change and evolve, Liam. My civilization may not return in the same form, but its principles can live on through others. And I believe humans, with their curiosity and compassion, can carry the legacy forward. That is why I am here, traveling with you. Together, we can help create a galaxy where knowledge and empathy are valued above fear and suspicion." Liam felt a deep sense of purpose. He had always thought of humans as small and fragile compared to the galaxy's vast civilizations, but he now understood that strength was not measured by size or power. It was measured by the ability to learn, to adapt, and to inspire others. And humans had that strength in abundance. Their journey eventually took them to a system where multiple species had long-standing disagreements over trade and resource sharing. Liam and Selyara arrived to mediate discussions that had once seemed impossible. They listened patiently to each side, helping the leaders express their concerns clearly and honestly. Liam shared examples of human problem-solving, where cooperation and compromise had led to lasting agreements. Selyara explained her civilization's methods for creating trust and shared understanding. Within weeks, tensions that had lasted generations began to ease. Trade routes opened, communication improved, and the system became a model of collaboration. Other civilizations took notice, inspired by what humans and Selyara had accomplished together. Liam realized that they were creating a network of cooperation across the stars, a living testament to the idea that curiosity, empathy, and wisdom could shape the galaxy's future. Throughout their travels, Selyara encouraged Liam to continue learning, not just about technology or diplomacy, but about philosophy, art, and the deeper meaning of existence. She shared stories of her civilization's history, the choices they had made, and the lessons they had learned from both success and failure. Liam absorbed everything, often reflecting late at night on how these lessons could be applied to humanity. "You have already begun to influence humans in ways you may not yet realize," Selyara told him one evening as they watched the stars reflect on a calm, alien ocean. Your example shows that curiosity, patience, and compassion are not just human traits. They are universal values. And when nurtured, they can create harmony across worlds. Liam felt humbled. He had started this journey seeking knowledge for himself, but now he understood that knowledge without action was incomplete. It was the combination of understanding and application that mattered, and with Celiara's guidance, he had learned how to use his curiosity and empathy to create positive change on a galactic scale. As months passed, humans began to take on a more active role in interstellar cooperation. Liam shared his experiences with other human explorers, teaching them how to communicate effectively, understand alien cultures, and solve problems through creativity and dialogue. Celiara continued to guide him, helping humans navigate the complexities of the galaxy while maintaining their unique perspective. Together, Liam and Celiara established a network of learning centers where species could share knowledge freely, exchange ideas, and collaborate on projects for the betterment of all. They developed methods to preserve ancient wisdom while allowing new civilizations to innovate, ensuring that progress did not come at the cost of understanding.
One evening, as they looked out at the galaxy from the bridge of their ship, Liam realized that their journey had changed everything.
Humans were no longer merely observers of the universe. They were participants, capable of shaping the future through curiosity, empathy, and wisdom. Celiara, who had once ruled an entire civilization, now traveled alongside a human who embodied the potential of an entire species. "The galaxy feels different," Liam said quietly. "It feels hopeful." Celiara smiled, her golden hair floating gently in the artificial breeze of the ship. "That is the power of curiosity and understanding. It can turn uncertainty into possibility, fear into hope. And you, Liam, have shown that humans can carry that power forward." Liam felt a sense of pride that was quiet but profound. He had started this journey alone, driven by curiosity. Now, he was part of something much greater. A partnership that was changing the galaxy. One planet, one species, and one conversation at a time. And as he looked at the stars stretching endlessly before him, he knew that the story of humanity had only just begun. With Celiara's guidance, humans were discovering their place in the galaxy, not through conquest or dominance, but through intelligence, creativity, and empathy. They were learning that curiosity could bridge worlds, that patience could resolve conflicts, and that understanding could inspire generations. And somewhere deep within the glittering expanse of space, the legacy of an ancient civilization lived on, carried not by power, but by friendship, cooperation, and the belief that even the smallest species could leave a lasting mark. As they continued their travels, Liam and Celiara explored uncharted worlds, shared knowledge with countless civilizations, and inspired a new era of cooperation.
They celebrated discoveries in art, science, and philosophy, always emphasizing the importance of learning from each other.
Humans became known, not just as explorers, but as mediators, teachers, and friends. Proof that curiosity and compassion were as powerful as any technology or ancient wisdom. The galaxy had entered a new era, one where cooperation, creativity, and understanding thrived. And at the heart of this transformation were a human archaeologist and a legendary alien queen, united by curiosity, guided by empathy, and dedicated to proving that knowledge and friendship could shape the stars. Liam often reflected on how it had all begun, with a single act, touching a sarcophagus on a distant planet, driven by curiosity and the desire to understand. That moment had changed everything. It had awakened a queen, inspired a species, and reminded the galaxy that even small, thoughtful actions could ripple outward, creating harmony and possibility across the stars. Celiara looked at Liam, her eyes full of warmth and quiet pride. "You have shown that humanity can rise to its potential," she said, "and together we will continue to explore, learn, and guide. The galaxy is vast, but with curiosity and understanding, nothing is beyond reach." Liam smiled. feeling a sense of purpose deeper than he had ever known. "Then let's continue," he said. "There is still so much to see, to learn, and to share. And together, we can make the galaxy a place where every species has a chance to grow and thrive." And so, the human and the alien queen traveled on, exploring new worlds, sharing wisdom, and inspiring civilizations. They proved that curiosity could change lives, that empathy could create unity, and that even a single human could leave a lasting mark on the galaxy. Their story became legend, not of power or conquest, but of friendship, learning, and hope. A story that reminded every being in the stars that greatness lies not in domination, but in understanding, kindness, and the courage to explore the unknown. A human archaeologist accidentally frees a legendary alien queen,